the Kreutz Bazaar. You step out of the van, climbing down into the tunnel leading back to your safe house. Just hours ago, you saved Berlin from fire and ash, from the would-be sacrifice of Dr. Adrian Vauclair. It feels strange now, returning in secret, in silence. The other residents of the Kreutz Bazaar go about their business, unaware of what almost happened here tonight. It's finally over. Your team and your Keats are safe once again. Really, we couldn't just start? Maybe the Kreutz Bazaar has changed. The team is waiting when you walk in. Their faces are haggard, their shoulders slumped. Was there a point to all this, Haswell? We lost Paul, lost Monica, the Kreutz Bazaar, so many people dead. It was just supposed to be a simple job, remember? A milk run. Get into the estate, snatch some data, get home in time for worm talk on the Trid. I think we've had enough worm talk for one lifetime. You got that right. If I never have to talk to another dragon again, it'll be too soon. This whole thing has been a nightmare from the beginning. The idea of dragons taking over the world, the thought of them slowly hoarding everything, it's too big to think about. We're street level, we run the shadows, that's it. Worrying about these sorts of issues is beyond our pay grade. That's what they want, that's what they need. The corps, the dragons, the politicians, everyone. They want us to think we can't make a difference. They put effort, a lot of effort, into making us feel small, insignificant. But we're not. We had the power in our hands today, and the day we brought down a building on who knows how many people, ruined who knows how many lives, disrupted who knows how many lives. That day too, we made a difference. We had a choice and we made it. And because of that, the world is different. For good or for ill. That's right, for good or ill. We can't see the future. I don't think that anyone can. But the world is different now, and we're the ones who changed it. So did we win? I'll tell you what we did. We avenged Monica and Paul. That was what we set out to do, and we did it. You watch the team take this in, Iger nodding her agreement, Glory staring ahead, lost in thought, Dietrich frowning, eyeing the floor, Blitz fiddling with his deck and don't read that wrong, and pretending not to understand. Iger breaks the silence. So now what? Monica's gone, Paul's gone. Do we keep running together, or is this the end of the road? I'm out. Glory's face is placid. She has someone to take revenge on. Glory does something you've never seen before. There's a calmness to her voice, a softness to her expression that you haven't seen before. I have some business to take care of, a responsibility that I've been ignoring. Haswell helped me to see that. I might be gone for a long time. There are a lot of kids who are going to need my help, and I intend to give it to them. But I promise you, I will return to the Kreutz Bazaar. And to this team. If you need anything, you know where to come. Understood. See you around. I'll miss you, love. Be safe. Dietrich turns to you. Well, I'm in. I'm getting kind of old for a Shadowrunner, but I'd rather die in the shadows with you people than live... I don't know. I thought I had something going there. Whatever. Point is, I'm in. That was beautiful, man. Iger turns to you. So, Haswell, you gonna stick around the Kreutz Bazaar and keep running the shadows with me? You've done a hell of a job. I'd be happy to follow your lead. Depends. Are we done with that fearless leader crap? All done, Haswell. Like I said, you lead, I follow. What about you, Blitz? Oh, I am most definitely in. Totally. Insane dragons, assholes with enormous machine guns, devil dogs that hump your leg when no one's looking. This is the place for me, no question about it. How could I say no? Dante humped your leg? I don't want to talk about it. It's still too fresh. Iger snorts a laugh. Then she's back to business. Before I forget, the Turkish coffee guy sent one of his street rats over before you got here. Said he wants to talk to you about something. Thanks. I'm going to see what's going on in the Kreutz Bazaar. I'll stop by the coffee shop on my way. I guess this is one last chance to talk to everyone. Presumably everyone in here, too. I may as well. Haswell, I'll admit it. You did a hell of a job back there. I couldn't have done better myself. You'd have done fine, but it was my job to lead the team, so I did. That's the right attitude. Anyway, I'll be looking forward to the next run. Just do me a favor. Make sure that the client is properly vetted, and for the love of God, verify that the job has nothing to do with dragons. Done and done. Good man. Until next time. We can still go down there for some reason. Well, boss, we went up against a dragon and lived. I guess that's a win in my book. Couldn't have put it better myself. So, any big plans looming on the horizon? New clients you're thinking of going after, maybe? We'll worry about that tomorrow. Tonight, we celebrate. You're right, boss. Of course you're right. Oh, and, Haswell, I meant what I said earlier. From this point on, wherever this team goes, I'll follow. I wouldn't have it any other way. Hey, Chief. That was a hell of a thing, wasn't it? Yeah, it was. I'm glad to hear you'll be staying on with the team. Frankly, Chief, I'm surprised you care. I mean, all this time and we've barely even talked. I didn't hear a peep from you when we weren't on a run. I'm pretty sure I came and talked to you a couple times. I don't know. I just didn't think we were friends exactly. Friendly, but not friends. Well, maybe we can change that. Maybe we can, Chief. I'm game if you are. Want to meet up later at the soy calf shop? We can trade war stories over a smoke. Alright, but you're buying. Deal. I can't pet Dante. Glory, I know we didn't use you much in the end, but I guess I'll talk to you anyway. After I check my messages, that really shows where you stand in my book, doesn't it? No new messages. Yeah, just wondering. Okay. Haswell, you got us through the night alive. Well done. Thanks. From what you said to the others, I take it you're off to liberate whatever that place was. That's right, and I have you to thank for that. I don't think I'd ever have mustered the courage to go back if you hadn't pushed me. It's the right thing to do. I'm just happy to hear you're going through with it. I have to. If I can stop even one of those kids from following in my footsteps, it'll be worth it. Best of luck. Thanks. I'll tell you all about it when I get back. In the meantime, I'll just go into the bathroom and stare at myself in the mirror some more. May as well go everywhere in the Kreutz Bazaar. Talk to people we didn't talk to much. This is the final episode after all. Oh, he's not there? Oh, there he is, but he has no thing over him. Can't talk to him. Any closure with the phone booth? No closure with the phone booth. Okay. Let's go see if the dancer... She's not there, is she? The dancer isn't there anymore. Because her thing got burned to the ground. Run, Haswell, run! Yeah. So if you were keeping track of how much money I wasted... Hey! I know you. Well, Haswell doesn't know you, but... Here he is, Absinthe, the clear-sighted one. To be certain, this orc is to be praised with much praise. Though his release of the great worm will have ramifications, to be sure, this day is full of portent. How did you know about the dragon? A friend. The release of the great worm is of interest to a multitude of beings, and Algernon is among their circle. Things are different now. Different how? Before the next cycle's end, the fire wing will speak again with the voice of the maiden. The dancer will spin. I saw the dancer. The seal will melt, and the calm lake will burn again. This I prophesize. I never talked to these characters because I never really went into that magic thing. I should have recognized him, but I didn't think they were important. Anyway, if you don't know, Algernon here is from the previous game. You make it sound like a bad thing. Do not jest, half-dream. We must be going, and soon. Is there something I should know? Some last words of, I don't know, wisdom? Always no, never. Shine, runner of the shadows. Glow bright and show what is hidden in the places power wishes to remain dark. That is Absinthe's wish for you. That is what I was going to say. Goodbye, Haswell. We will meet again, I think, though not for a long, long time. We didn't really meet the first time. I was actually kind of expecting the niece to be out here, and they finally realized what a good idea it was to put a fence across there. Yeah, you would think that I would actually get to talk to her. I mean, why this guy? Ah, how very propitious it is that we speak again, O Master of Mayhem. I have a proposal for you that could prove most lucrative to us both. Most lucrative. Fortune will surely smile upon our blessed partnership, if you will only accept. You have my attention. What do you have in mind? With the passing of Herr Amsel, may God bestow his mercy on him, you find yourself without a fixer. I wish to offer my services to you in this regard. You will find that Barak Ghazi is a most connected and business-savvy partner. Sounds like a match made in heaven. How do we start? I have already found a potential client, O Blessed One. A most prosperous one with deep pockets. He is eager to meet you. When you are ready, take the U-Bahn to Brandenburger Tor. He will find you there. Brandenburger Tor, got it. As soon as I finish up here, I'll go meet him. So this is not done? What the hell? Who could possibly be this person? Who did we leave out at the very beginning? That we have to come back to. It'd be funny if it was my character from the first game. I don't know why it would be. Ah, that's the dragon. The train car is empty except for the man in the immaculately tailored Italian suit. You notice him watching you for several minutes while the train rumbles its way towards Brandenburger Tor. Finally, he speaks. The stranger's words come out slowly, in a deep, melodious tone that is easy to hear, despite the noise of the train. He takes his time, accentuating each word, relishing each vowel and each consonant, tasting them as if they were a delicacy. I will not be doing his terrible German accent. Hello. I assume the business with Dr. Vauclair is concluded, yes? Do I know you, friend? No, but you are about to. Hans Brockhaus. I represent an interested party. Someone who wishes to know about your encounter with Dr. Vauclair. And how do you know about that? My employer also wishes to hear about the Lady Firewing, a fascinating creature, so unlike her brothers and sisters. It is a relief that she is now free. Dragons are not meant for captivity. The Lady Firewing least of all. She was special in this world. I am sure you would agree. I don't give a crap about dragons, Hans. Of course not. You have your own important business to consider. Who to rob, who to kill, where to get your next packet of soy jerky, that sort of thing. You are no more interested in the dealings of the great dragons than a moth is interested in your bank account. Yet one day that moth might be squashed under your foot without your even noticing. You look at a moth and barely perceive sentience. You glance its way, amused as it flutters towards a bright light in a vain attempt to what? To enter, to draw strength, to burn? It doesn't know. Its epic struggle is barely 1/100th of your lifespan. The sum total of its existence is nothing against the vast scale of your struggles, your hopes, your dreams, which it could not fathom in 1,000 years. Poor moth. He leans forward. You will live and die between the beats of a dragon's heart. What hope do you have of understanding them? I understand more than I did yesterday. I spoke to her. Firewing was different from other dragons, wasn't she? I'm pretty sure he just said that. Indeed she was. Indeed she was. I am pleased to see it. My Lady Firewing was a nurturer, a caregiver, rare among her kind. When her brothers and sisters saw the world as a prize to be won, she saw it as a garden to be tended. Can you imagine? For world upon world the great dragon Firewing brought wisdom and succor to countless souls, and she was loved for it, exalted, a goddess. When she awoke from her long slumber in 2012 and saw what the world had become, what metahumanity had done to the garden she had tended for great ages, she struck with the rage, regret, frustration, and anguish of a mother whose children had played with fire and burned the house down, killing themselves in the blaze. She unleashed fire and death through her tears. And now she is free again, and insane, the perfect addition to the sixth world. Thanks for the lecture, Professor. Now who are you? A representative of a potential client, a very influential client, and one who pays extraordinarily well, and he is someone who demands a modicum of respect. Now listen. The man removes his hands from his knees, folds them in his lap. I tell you all this so that you can have context, perspective, before I ask you this next question, Shadowrunner. If Dr. Valclair's weapon did not require dragonfire, if it was capable of destroying every dragon on Earth without touching a hair of metahumanity's head, would you have used it? Well, even though I did try to justify not using the weapon by telling Valclair that wiping out the dragons would be wrong, I'm not going to answer that way. I'm just going to say, I don't know. Indeed, and you are wise to know it. Well, on to the business at hand. My employer wishes to secure your team's services for a series of operations that will likely require the remainder of 2054. I don't know. After Green Winters, I need to have a better idea of who I'm working for these days. Of course, and you have dealt with several false flag contracts as well recently, yes? It is an awful thing to be manipulated, I am sure. That is referring to the Lodge. There will be no secrets between us. Your employer will be the great dragon, Lothwir. He is sometimes referred to as the Golden Worm. Perhaps you have heard of him. What makes you think I'm going to make a deal with the dragon? I don't know, the fact that I just did before and released her upon the world? Because you have already been working for him for some time now, mein Herr. Or did you think Green Winters found Valclair on his own? He glances up at the Ubon map on the wall and smiles. Ah, this is my stop. Coming? Well, what do you know? Looks like this is my stop, too. The train comes to a halt and the doors open. Brackhouse stands, brushes off his Italian suit, and exits without another word. As you turn to follow, your eye catches an advertisement for Worm Talk above the subway car door. Brackhouse glances back at you from the platform, the light from the car reflecting yellow in his gaze. You step out of the subway car and follow him up the stairs and into the Berlin night, into the shadows. I joined the corporation in the last one. Berlin Newsfax contains just one report of a large-scale explosion in the countryside east of Berlin. An abandoned castle is reportedly consumed in a massive fireball that shakes the countryside and leaves a crater 60 feet deep. A natural gas leak is suspected, and the location is soon cordoned off by unidentified corporate forces. This news is eclipsed when Sater-Krups announces its acquisition of Ariana Space, the last remaining arm of the European space program. The Flux State's anarchist rule remains until 2055, when joint corporate forces, acting with the support of the German government, invade the city. It's widely known that the Great Dragon Lothwir is responsible for orchestrating this action. After weeks of fighting, the surviving anarchists are forced to retreat to the eastern part of the city. A truce is signed in 2060, and Berlin is again divided by a wall. The Great Dragon Dunkelzahn is elected President of the United Canadian and American States in 2057. He is promptly assassinated as he leaves an inauguration party at the Watergate Hotel while in human form. popular opinion is that another great dragon is responsible, as only a dragon can kill a dragon. But those in the shadows hint that an act of powerful blood magic is the cause. Grainy photographs of a large winged creature crossing a full moon above the Harz mountain circulate in Germany for several years. Conspiracy theorists take this as evidence that a new great dragon has emerged, but when no further sightings are reported, interest wanes. The name of Dr. Adrian Vauclair has since been lost to the shadows. So did we do good, or did we do bad? I may have just betrayed the Kreuz Bazaar. Okay, so that was Shadowrun Dragonfall. I don't know how I feel about this. I remember not being too pleased with Shadowrun Returns. This was an okay game. Aside from the fact, I mean, my one huge complaint is the accuracy. Obviously, I was missing way too much for 70 and 80% hits. That was a big issue, and I don't know if, that was a bug, if that's been patched, or if that's just how it is, but I'm pretty sure that at 80% you hit more than you miss, and I seem to be missing about a third of the time, and the train sound is kicked in for some reason. Let's get out of there then. That said, I thought the story was actually pretty weak, to be honest. I found the side quests a lot more interesting. The main story was basically just pummeled into us. I mean, at every opportunity, the game unnecessarily decided to review things, and maybe that's just because they thought players would sort of forget what was going on as they got involved in the side quests. But, like, as soon as we talked to Paul about something, he would then review it. And I know Dietrich did that once before, and it's just like every step of the way. I mean, the game starts out, it's like, what the hell's going on? Oh, we suspect it might be a dragon. Okay, well, I mean, that sort of gives away the whole plot, no suspense, no mystery at all. And then later on, it's like, yeah, we're pretty sure now it's a dragon. Okay, great, you kind of said that. And then a little bit later, it's like, we're definitely sure there's a dragon. Okay, thank you. I get it. There's a dragon. I mean, it's just like, they lost a lot of power, I think, in the direction they could have taken the story. There just wasn't... I mean, you kind of knew from the beginning that there was a dragon involved, and we had to find Vauclair. Otherwise, I mean, it was just an expansion. I think it's a good expansion in that the first game was good mechanics-wise. I mean, I enjoyed it. There was an awful lot of dialogue. I don't remember there being that much in the previous game. And at least this game felt like there was a continuous story. I did like the side quest aspect of it. I didn't like having to go through, on a rail through the main story. I did like the fact that we could break it up and go off on these side quests. But like I said, I felt the side quests were actually more interesting than the main plot. But, comparing this to Shadowrun Returns, where they had sort of the first story arc, where you do the Emerald City Killer, and then, it ends, but then they sort of lose the climax by extending the story where you have to go beat What's-Her-Face and stop that cult. This was a well, not this one, but the first one was a Kickstarter-backed game, so it is my theory, because I never looked at it, I never looked into it, but it was my theory that the game was just extended as sort of a one of those extension goals that Kickstarter has. So they just padded the game with that, and that's why the story felt like it didn't end when it should have. This game, that was not an issue. It's just that the main storyline didn't have much in it, because they felt it was necessary to just repeat over again and again, hey, we need to find Vauclair, there's a dragon involved. But yeah, so earlier, when we first got a glimpse of Firewing, I said that pleased me, and that excited me, and the reason for that is because there is a fan project going on that is going to recreate, well, I think it's actually finished, that recreates the Shadowrun Super Nintendo game inside of the Shadowrun Returns engine. And obviously, at the end of Shadowrun Super Nintendo, spoilers, you face off against a dragon. And there is that dragon in there, in the room. And obviously, without a dragon sprite in the game, I never played it and I haven't looked at it, but that would kind of make the ending to that fan content kind of empty, because you wouldn't have that final battle. But reading through their website, they said that provided there was a dragon, and they were assuming there would be because of the name, they would then update their game or their content with the Berlin patch stuff. Now, last I checked, which was about a week ago, they haven't done that. So, I'm going to wait for that, but I do have plans to play that. So once they update it with the new content and make it complete, I'll showcase that. So that's why it excited me to see that there was, in fact, a dragon. So there will be a complete and true to the original game for me to play. But anyway, this one's done, and I hope you enjoyed watching. I will see you in the next Let's Play.